Hey Lobos, Ben Johnson here to show you how to use Tinkercad to design your project. Go ahead and open up Chrome and visit tinkercad.com. That's tinkercad.com. You'll need to go ahead and sign up for an account. It basically just asks you for your birth date, which if you don't want to share, you can just make sure that you're older than 13 so that you can use it. And then it asks for your, on the next step, it asks for your PSD email and a username and a password. So go ahead and sign up for your account, write down whatever your credentials are so that you can get back into it. And then once you've signed up for an account, it should log you in automatically. If not, you can just go back to the home page and sign in. So I've already made my account here yesterday, so I'll just go ahead and punch that in real quick. So take just a minute. Pause this video if you need to for a second to get all of those accounts made up for you and your classmates. And then go ahead and get signed in. You can either have it remember you or not, whatever you want to do here. The first time you do this, it may take you to some sort of a tutorial or something. Just close that and then click on this create a new design. So click on that blue button, create a new design. If you get stuck in that tutorial for some reason, um, just close the window and log back in. So I'm just going to do create a new design here. And it'll just bring up basically a grid of paper. This represents the 3D printer table if you want to think about it that way. And first thing I'm going to recommend that you do is just grab a box here and drag that out onto the table. And if you want, you could make it green for grass or however you want to think about it. To get specific dimensions, what I would recommend is just come up here to these boxes, and I'll just have you guys do a 50 millimeter length, a 50 millimeter width, and then for the height, I'm just going to have you do 2 millimeters. That way it won't take up too much of our plastic. So 50 by 50 is roughly going to be about 2 inches by 2 inches, and again that's just to conserve plastic so it doesn't take forever to print. And then just 2 millimeters high. You can change the color here. I guess you could use this radius if you want to round the corners, up to you. I've tried to figure out what this steps is, but haven't been successful, so maybe one of you guys can figure it out. So anyways, this represents the ground. Then you guys can decide kind of what you want to do with your city, talk to your teachers, see what their requirements are. I'm going to drag another box out here, and I'm just going to go ahead and again use this. I'll just say length, I'm going to say 50 here. This is going to be a street, by the way. And then the width, I'm just going to say 5, and then for the height, I'm going to say 4, so it'll just be slightly raised, or maybe even 3. So it's going to be just slightly raised above the surface there, and you need to hit enter after you type in these widths or else it doesn't stick. So maybe that'll be a road. If you want to change it to black to represent pavement or something like that, you're welcome to do that. And I'll just drag that there about halfway, and then if you want to do another road, you can just again drag out this red box. Same sort of thing, this time do the width 50, enter. The length we'll just do 5. Whoops, and then the height, again I'll just do it 3, so just slightly raised, and maybe make that black also. So just a matter of playing around a little bit until you get what you like. I'll show you how to spin this around in a second. So I've kind of got my city, my intersection. Now you're ready to start building your buildings, which is kind of the fun part. And I'll just do maybe like a house to begin with. So I've got this block. Again, maybe I'll do, let's see, maybe I'll try 20, enter. So I've got 20 by 20, and then the height, again, just to try to conserve plastic. I'm not going to get too crazy tall here, so maybe I'll just do like a 10 millimeter height. And that's going to be too big to even fit in the square, so let's dial that down even a bit more. So maybe I'll do 15. and this is just going to be a matter of playing around with it a bit. 15, and I don't care if you're exact with these dimensions or not, but it's something to shoot for. And then I'll drag the roof out here, and this one evidently doesn't have any way to manually enter those dimensions in, so you'll just have to use your mouse and try to get a 15 by 15 so that it fits. Notice how I'm doing this off of here for the moment, just a little bit easier, so then I'll drag that on top here. One thing I want to point out is that right now these are both flat on the table, but if I click on this cube and I go to this white square on the top and I click it just slightly, you can see that it's 10 tall. So I need to raise this roof up 10 millimeters off the table, and actually do that with that little teardrop up here. See this teardrop? And I can just drag that until I get it 10. So that's 10 millimeters off the table. So now if I slide it over the top of the house, hopefully that'll fit on there. Right, and if you want it to become one piece with the base, you can then just draw a rectangle around it and then hit the group here, and that then becomes one piece. Then you can drag it over here onto your grass or whatever you've drawn. So then you just continue. So if I wanted to do another sort of another taller building maybe here, I can just come in and do another say a 10 by 10. Again, hit enter here on these. If you want to go a little bit taller, you can. It's just the taller you go, the longer it's going to take to print, and we've got quite a few students in there, so just be patient, I guess. And then if I want to, I could put like a parabola on the top of this. Maybe I want to make it the Empire State Building or something. I can use these white grab handles to make things taller, but maybe I'll just grab this parabola out here and again maybe I'll make it a little bit, maybe I'll make like the Eiffel Tower or something here, or the Empire State Building, sorry. Again, I have to click this and figure out the height. So that height is 20 right now, so if I click on this parabola and grab the tier, I can lift it 20 off the table. Don't lift it any higher than the building, if anything less, so there's not an air gap in the middle of it. So then I can just drag that on top here and kind of have the Empire State Building. Get the idea, right? So then I can just draw a rectangle around that, group it. And on the colors here, if you want these to be colors of buildings, feel free to change that. So anyways, at this point, you're just going to go ahead and make your city. You can use all of the shapes over here. Challenges would be like the cash register building down in Denver. If any of you've seen that, that would be kind of a fun challenge. And I don't know how important it is to stick with what you drew on paper. I don't think it's terribly important. You could just design whatever sort of city you're in the mood to design. And then as you're building, you can either use the dimensions to enter, or you can just freehand it with the handles, and then you can just group. Should mention there is this align tool up here if you want to use that align tool. If you just do a control click on or draw a box around your shapes, you can use these align tools to help get things placed where you'd like them to get placed. I haven't mastered the align tool yet, but it looks like it's got some good potential. Anyways, I'll draw a box around that, group those together, and again make that a bit smaller so it'll fit. Now if you need to spin this thing around, you can use this little spinner up here, and it will allow you to spin this around so you can see to make sure that everything is fitting where you want it to fit. Kind of a nice way to do that. Anyways, you'll just keep going on this until you're finished. I think it automatically saves. It gives it a funny name up here. I guess you can just change it to whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to call it Mr. J's City, and that's what will be there when you log back into Tinkercad. Eventually, when we get ready to print these on a 3D printer, you'll be exporting those, and you'll choose STL, and that's what you're going to print on the 3D printer. And you can just save it in your student server folder or on your Google Drive, whatever you want. And then you'll be bringing that down to the media center. We'll print it out. Just to give you an idea, something like this, even though it's relatively small, this is probably going to take a couple hours to print. So once you guys get them designed, I'll just have you can come down and get started, but then I'll have my student aide probably take over some of the printing. So we'll figure out how to collect those. Maybe we'll collect all those files in a Google Drive folder or something, so that my aides can print whenever they have some extra time. So that's it. Hope this helped. It's Tinkercad. I guess tinker around with it. You'll figure it out. Before we print, I'll double check the file and make sure that everything is going to print okay. If you have overhangs or things like that, you're trying to print in midair, of course that won't work. So the main thing is to make sure that if you add like a roof to one of your buildings, that it's not hanging over, because you can't print plastic in midair. It has to have something underneath it. So I guess don't get too crazy with your designs, but as long as there's something supporting underneath, then you can basically draw whatever you can imagine. So I hope that helped. Stop by the media center if you need a hand, and be happy to help you out. Thank you.